James Gunn just spent over $360 million on Superman. And now he wants you to believe that box office numbers don't matter. What? Meanwhile, official tax documents say one thing, James Gunn says another, and Warner Brothers is sitting in a boardroom sweating harder than Ezra Miller at a press conference. But here's the kicker. The same guy who once said that the entire future of the DCU depends on this movie is now telling us it's complete and utter nonsense to expect it to make $700 million. So is James lying about the budget, the expectations, or the pressure? Spoiler alert, it's probably all three. What's up, you beautiful geeks and nerds? Welcome back to the Critical Nerd channel. This is where we call BS faster than a Warner Brothers accountant on damage control. So smash that like button, ring that bell, and subscribe before this video costs more than Superman's CGI cape. Oh yeah, by the way, we just hit over 30,000 subscribers, so a humble thank you for the support. And if you're new here, welcome to the channel, where we surgically dissect Hollywood's nonsense and serve it up on a silver platter of sarcasm. And today, we're diving into a masterclass in spin doctoring starring none other than James, it's fine, really, Gunn. So according to GQ, Gunn said this, and I quote, "There's something riding on it, yeah, but it's not as big as people make it out to be. And those saying it needs to make $700 million to succeed? Complete and utter nonsense." All right. Just rebooting the most iconic superhero of all time, launching a new cinematic universe, replacing Henry Cavill, nuking the Snyderverse, and gambling hundreds of millions of dollars, but yeah, it's no big deal. This is like watching the captain of the Titanic say, "Don't worry, it's just a little ice." So let's talk numbers, or something James Gunn seems to be allergic to. The official tax filings from the state of Ohio say the production cost $363 million. Gunn, he swears it's closer to $200 million because who you gonna believe? Certified state tax records or a guy desperately trying to keep a cinematic universe from face planting harder than the Flash? And then there's marketing. For a tentpole feature like this, it ain't cheap. We're talking $150 to $200 million easy. Best case total cost, you're going to be somewhere in the 400 to 500 million range. Yeah, I said it, $500 million. And that's if nobody bought gold-plated catering trays for Crypto the Superdog. Let's do a little math here. Studios typically need to do is anywhere from 2.5 to 3 times their budget to break even. So if we take Gunn's low ball of $200 million for the production budget, $150 million for marketing, we get a nice round number of $350 million. This movie needs to make at least $700 to $800 million just to not be a disaster, at least a financial disaster. And you know what number James Gunn called nonsense? $700 million. It's not nonsense, James, it's math. Not even Clark Kent can punch his way through that one. Let's do a little history lesson here. Man of Steel 2013 made $668 million. That was 12 years ago, back in 2013. With inflation, that's over $800 million today. So if Gunn's Superman makes less than that, it's not just a failure, it's a regression. Imagine spending more money, wiping the slate clean, rebooting the brand, only to do worse than the movie you replaced. I mean, it's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it plays out. Now let's talk about puff piece reviews. Okay? A glowing piece in the Sunday Times declared Superman a triumph before the premiere even started. One teeny tiny problem. Turns out this wasn't a review. It was a Warner Brothers approved press message. See, when your first wave of buzz comes from sanctioned PR puff pieces, that's not hype, that's panic. You don't need to soft launch your reviews early unless you know the real ones might break Metropolis in half. Well, let's talk about excuses, because those inevitably are going to start flying in at some point. The final form of spin, superhero fatigue. I mean, I've mentioned it in my previous videos. I know others here on YouTube have mentioned it in their videos. James Gunn says it's not the genre. It's the kind of stories being told. James, you wrote the story. You made Superman the geopolitical podcast. You've got Clark and Lois arguing about foreign wars and immigration reform. I'm not saying politics doesn't belong in superhero movies. What I'm saying is read the room. And yes, some people are going to say I've mentioned politics in other videos. I have. Inserting politics is fine as long as it's part of the story and not the focal point. You can tell a good story and have politics in it. Just saying. But I digress. We want Superman to punch things, inspire hope, and maybe save a cat from a tree every once in a while. Not host a TED Talk on international diplomacy. So let's recap here. James Gunn spends upwards of $400 million on Superman. Tells us numbers don't matter. Box office doesn't matter. Denies official budget documents. Uses puff pieces for positive PR. And then uses superhero fatigue and uses that as an excuse preemptively. So that's it for today, folks. Hit like, punch that subscribe button harder than Zod got hit in Man of Steel, and let me know in the comments. Is James Gunn doing smart PR, or is this damage control wrapped in a cape of delusion? Because one thing's for sure, if Superman doesn't soar, the excuses will. So catch you in the next one. Until then, stay skeptical, stay sarcastic, and remember, the truth may be out there, but Warner Brothers, they ain't telling it. Critical Nerd, out.